Hi everyone, I'm Alana, and I'm back with another episode of Accelerating on Reinventing DGA. Today I'm super excited because we're kicking off the build for the race management spreadsheet. This is where it all begins, and I'm ready for it in one of my power modeling outfits. We're starting with some basic setup and concepts, and the foundation of it all is tables. Now, I know what you're thinking, tables? How exciting. But trust me, tables are the unsung hero of organized, efficient workbooks. And when it comes to handling this race data, they're going to be a game changer. Before we dive in, we need to ask some key questions. How do we make sure the data stays consistent when multiple people are using the workbook? And how do we prevent changes from messing up the functionality of our spreadsheet down the road? That's exactly what we're solving today. Let's start with why tables are essential for our setup. If you've ever struggled with formulas breaking or manual updates turning into chaos, tables are here to save the day. Here's why tables are non-negotiable in this spreadsheet. First, they provide clear identification. The table names and headers make the data meaningful and intuitive. Next, tables are named range objects, making them easy to reference in formulas and tools like Power Query, which we will be using later in the workbook. They also allow for structured references. Formulas become readable and maintainable. Think class fee instead of range N8 to N35. It's just easier to understand. Tables also resize dynamically. This means that if we add or remove rows, the tables adapt automatically. No more updating formulas manually. This will lead to a reduction in errors. Tables prevent many mistakes caused by hard coding ranges. Although tables have more benefits, the last one we'll discuss is autofill. Table rows, including new rows, inherit formatting, formulas, and validations effortlessly. Tables aren't just convenient, they make your workbook smarter, faster, and more reliable. And that's exactly what we need to manage the race data. Now that we understand why tables are awesome, let's dive into our first set of tables, the 5 control tables. These are the backbone of the workbook. They stay consistent throughout the season and drive key functionality. Once we set them up, we'll rarely touch them, just at the beginning of the season or when the rules change. The first table is the points table, directly from the flat track racing rules. We're just going to copy these values into Excel. Next, we're going to define our table and confirm that it does have headers. Then we will apply a quick format. We need to give our table a meaningful name, so let's name it points. Finally, let's change the font color for the awarded points to blue, as this is the information that would most likely be updated. The second control table is the event list. This is the master list of rounds, locations, and dates. For 2025, all 6 events will be held at the Olds Regional Exposition Grounds, so we will enter this into the location column. The schedule for 2025 is already known, with 2 rounds being held in each of June, August, and September. These dates are entered into the date column. Again, we are going to select our table area, define the table, and confirm that it has headers. Then we are going to give this table a name, in this case, events. Finally, we apply formatting to the table and data entry columns. Our third table is the fees table. It contains registration fees for each class type, plus daily pit fee rates. For now, we need to use the 2024 fees. Our fourth table is the class table. It includes the class name, type, availability, and fee, all needed for registration. First, we're going to set the table area and define the name. Next, we're going to restrict the data entry in the available column using a validation rule. We're going to limit the values to yes or no. This will keep the data in the column consistent and prevent errors by only allowing yes or no in the field. It's important to do this because this table is the source for the registration class list. Our next step is to populate the fee column. To prevent mistakes in this column, we are going to match the fee table to the class table based on class type using the XLOOKUP function. This approach will ensure that the data is consistent and updates quickly once we receive the 2025 rates. The formatting for this table will include a conditional format on the availability column. In 2025, we know that the 2-stroke event and a couple of others will not be offered, so I'll set this availability to no. Our final control table is the available class list. We are going to populate this one dynamically based on available classes. First, we filter the class table for records that show yes in the available column. Since we will only need the class name, we're going to use the choose_call function to return only the first column. Finally, we need to add event canceled to the list. We will do this by using the vstack function and add it to the end of our selections. To test, we need to remove the hooligan and pulse start events from the 2025 offerings. The list gets shorter. This approach keeps our class list up to date in a controlled fashion. Once these tables are built, we'll hide the tab to avoid accidental changes. This keeps things clean and professional. Unlike the control tables, the membership table will need regular updates. This is where we capture the member information that is needed for registration, safety, and insurance. The membership table includes membership details like ID, membership type, and purchase date, personal information like the name, birth date, address, phone number, and email, safety details including medical information and emergency contacts, bike information for multiple vehicles, which would include the type, plate, make and model number. Finally, we'll add a sponsor column. We're also going to add two custom columns. The first is the member name, which helps simplify the registration process. Here, we simply join the first and last name fields from our table. The next is a flag for any rider under the age of 18. This will be used to ensure that we have correct legal and insurance forms. Before the 2025 season begins, we'll pre-populate this table with data from the last season. That way, we're just updating information, not re-entering everything. For now, we'll just work with the test data. And that's it for today. We've built the foundational tables and controls that will power our race management spreadsheet. These are the building blocks for everything else, so we had to set them up correctly. Next time, we're going to look at the registration process and leverage the controls to get the race day started. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. In our next video, we're building our main driver, the registration table. We're going to add some VBA coding to this one, so stay tuned. See you next time on Reinventing DGA.